For generations, Black people have shown up. They've marched, they've organized, they've voted, protested, they've led, they've bled, they've died, all for rights that we've benefited from. Too often, white folks like me, you, we watch from the sidelines. We've said, that's a shame, but carry on. Some of us may have even posted a black square, but went back to business as usual. Meanwhile, Black communities are still being policed more, paid less, denied care, blamed for their own poverty, blamed for their systemic problems, handed longer sentences for the same exact crime. And when they dare to grieve, rage, many of us respond with, that's too much. Calm down. The problem is that we keep asking them
In this video, American Latinos, Latinas, and white people argue against other Hispanics about black people marching with them and about DI Donald Trump and more. Before we get into this video, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Has told you already, hair color is not exclusive to a race. So yes, black people can definitely be born with different colored eyes and they can have red hair or blonde hair. It is not exclusive to a race. And trying to compare hair color to white women wearing black hairstyles that are meant to protect black people's hair, and for many other reasons, there's a history behind it. It's meant for black people. So why would a white person wear a black hairstyle? Are you catching on? And the problem really is when white people can wear that said hairstyle and not get in trouble. But if a black person wears a hairstyle that's supposed to be for their hair and is meant for their hair, is threatened that they lose their job or get kicked out of school. And before anybody tries to say that's never happened, it has. Google it. That's where the problem is. Oh, white privilege. That too. That's literally what I just said is white privilege. White people can do said thing that black people are pretty much forced to not do. And that is why, because society was built for white people. Plain and simple. So with that being said, I hope you learned from that, because that whole little live you did was insane. Disrespecting the fuck out of black women. Wow.
I've heard that black folks are sitting this one out. Maybe that made you pause, think a little bit. Maybe you thought, wait, why? So let's talk about it. For generations, black people have shown up. They've marched, they've organized, they've voted, protested, they've led, they've bled, they've died, all for rights that we've benefited from. Too often, white folks like me, you, we watch from the sidelines. We've said, that's a shame, but carry on. Some of us may have even posted a black square, but went back to business as usual. Meanwhile, black communities are still being policed more, paid less, denied care, blamed for their own poverty, blamed for their systemic problems, handed longer sentences for the same exact crime. And when they dare to grieve, rage, many of us respond with, that's too much. Calm down. The problem is that we keep asking them to show up. So no, not this time. They're not showing up. Many. I don't blame them. I get it. They don't want their name to become another hashtag. This time, we're the ones that need to march in front, on the front lines, organize, protect, and demand change without centering ourselves to not only do the work, but we need to earn that trust back. We've got work to do. If you're uncomfortable, I get it. It's okay. Just don't let it stop you from showing up. Not this time.
To all black women of America, I want to express my heartfelt apology for the role that many white Americans, including white women, played in electing Donald Trump. I recognize the pain and frustration that this has caused in black communities and the ways this outcome has undermined the rights, the safety, and the dignity of so many, especially black women. I understand that black women have long fought for justice and equity, not just for themselves, but for all marginalized communities. And your commitment to truth, resilience, and progress is truly inspiring. As a white person, I'm aware that part of my responsibility is to listen, learn, and actively challenge systems that harm and marginalize. And it's clear that actions speak louder than words. I'm still committed to doing the work necessary to help build a future where all voices are heard and respected. Thank you for your continued strength and leadership. I'm committed to being an ally in creating positive, lasting changes so that we can all live equally in this country. To all of the white women who let everyone else down, check back with me in 4 years. I'm sorry for your daughters. I'm sorry for your sisters that you made a choice to vote a convicted criminal into the presidency. You complain about crime committed by people who came to this country to seek a new life, but you weren't worried about putting a criminal in office again. You must be aware that he's about to use his power to save himself and to save every insurrectionist who was sentenced as a result of the insurrection. You are truly about to see what misuse of power looks like.
You see, immediately after emancipation, white folks didn't want to give black folks health care. They were afraid of healthy black people while simultaneously viewing them as unworthy of receiving health care. And do you know what was a great way to keep black people from accessing that health care? Tying it to the jobs that they were being denied. This is just one of many, many consequences of slavery and racism that we don't talk about, but we absolutely should. If you want to learn more, the New York Times has an awesome series on this that you can read for free online. Just Google the 1619 Project. And remember, healthcare is a human right and racism sucks.
I'm so surprised how many people didn't know that with the DEI rollbacks, that meant that there would also be rollbacks for specifically women. I don't know what y'all thought. What, you thought, first of all, you thought these men respected us? What, just because just because you're a white woman? And I get I'm a white woman, right? But most political progress for women has come at the hands of women of color. Not to say that there haven't been prominent white women, but when they're talking about diversity in the workforce, they're talking about you. And now they're talking about getting rid of things like Black History Month and Women's History Month. And all the white women are suddenly what? This applies to us? I don't know if you know this, but they view you as someone they can oppress. I don't know why we're surprised. This also means that it opens the door for them to allow for things for you to be fired if you're pregnant, for them to take away more things like maternity leave and stuff like that. Y'all need to stop associating DEI with just black people or other people of color. DEI rollbacks, that meant that there would also be rollbacks for specifically women. I don't know what you...
Non-melanated people are inherently racist, so they thought DEI applied to black people, therefore everything that would happen in association with DEI wouldn't affect them personally. So when women would launch harassment cases against their male co-workers, and that would lead to tangible consequence, DEI was a contributing factor. When they went to the bank to take out a loan to get the capital to start their business and that got approved, DEI was a contributing factor. It's not just about hiring practices, it's about the rights of those people when they're in professional spaces. The rolling back of various DEI programs is 100% going to impact marginalized communities, but it's going to hit white women the most because white men need white women to stay at home so that they can be mothers again.
DEI rollbacks, that meant that there would also be rollbacks for specifically women.
I'm just piggybacking off of you here. As soon as I heard the whole cutbacks for DEI, I'm how the hell are they going to enforce that unless you're a Christian, white, straight male, and then everybody else loses their job? How do you pick a DEI unless all you were assuming was black people and people of color? I asked him that as soon as it did, that came across, and I was oh my god, it's ridiculous. It is. People are dumb.
If you're a white person, we need to start getting even louder on behalf of our friends and family who are minorities. Our government has antagonized them to no end. They're ripping up the street that proclaimed Black Lives Matter. They're removing accomplishments from our minority service members off of the Pentagon website. And now our federal government erased a ban on contractors who run segregated facilities. They are trying so hard to enrage our brothers and sisters of color. They want them angry and they want them out in the streets. It is so clear. I'm so proud of them for not taking the bait. I'm so proud of them for staying home and resting. But as they do, we have to fight on their behalf. The Civil Rights Act was only passed in 1964. I'm in my early 40s, but my parents grew up with segregation in their schools. And there's no way in hell, all these years later, we're going to go backwards to anything even remotely resembling that. If places are segregated and say whites only, that's not a place I will ever be. And any line of thinking that keeps us separate from one another is a thinking that we need to reject loudly and wholeheartedly. Nobody is better than anybody else in this country because of the color of their skin. We are not, in 2025, going to sit around and watch as a bunch of people make laws trying to make us go backwards. We have to be the loudest ones. We have to be the protectors. We have to be the allies. We have to be the advocates. We have to be the ones whose voices are the loudest in saying, we will not go backwards, and you will not oppress the minority community. Not on our watch, not now, and not ever.
As a critical criminology lecturer and researcher, I kind of wanted to share my thoughts about segregation in America and how I've interpreted that using a sort of criminological twist. And when I say I'm a sort of a critical criminologist, I'm more like kill the rich than fingerprints and, you know, you're a serial killer because your mum was mean to you. I'm not that type of serial killer. I'm that type of criminologist. So what I wanted to say about the segregation is this. It seems to me that actually America has always had the most virulent, violent form of segregation in place anyway, in terms of its criminal justice system. That is nothing short of a segregation system. When you look at the disproportionate amount of black people that experience incarceration and the extended carceral system in terms of probation and parole and whatever. Yeah. Even greater disproportion is shared among Indigenous First Nations people who disproportionately or even greater represented within the carceral system. What this actually tells me is that actually what we're seeing is an extension of the carceral net into the wider community. And I don't think white people have the privilege to be shocked that Trump would suggest segregation when the American criminal justice system has been incarcerating people of color at colossal community wrecking levels for decades, and not to mention the types of policing that look more like hunting than policing. Anyway, just wanted to share my thoughts about that. Yeah, follow me if you want to.
I recently overheard a student, a young white boy, saying he's going to do a report on Ruby Bridges because he can relate to her because she was the only black person in her school and he's the only white person in his class. I thought that was a great glimpse into the white perception of how black folks experience racism, and especially in the context of the school I work at, because I work at an alternative school. And so my student there didn't realize that what he was saying had a bigger context to it. The fact that our school's kind of overwhelmed with young black children is because our education system refers them to us because they treat young black children like they're criminals. So even when he was trying to relate, he was still missing the picture entirely. And I feel like the lesson that came from that for me as a parent was the importance of not being neutral and not mincing words and not sugarcoating it, but really being explicit in the things we talk about so that our kids don't walk around with these like well-intended thoughts and beliefs that actually can cause more harm.
I didn't know that he was going to take my husband's tractors away. Also, I did not know that it was going to mean that my little boy was not going to be able to go to Head Start no more. And then I did not know that we was going to be out all of the caches from the food stuff. I did not know we was going to be losing that money, okay? We need it. And then I heard that they was going to mess with Papa's Social Security. And this is just a little bit more than we can stomach around here, if you know what I mean. So I don't know who we need to call to fix this. We need to call somebody and talk to the manager.
When the guy said black people are tired and don't want to stand with Latino and Latinas, because we've been the ones for generations marching and wanting better for all people, and a lot of Latinos in America are racist and majority of Hispanics voted for deportation. I agree with a lot of what they said in these clips. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.